Hi everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, still not a licensed physician, never giving medical advice because that would be illegal and I don't like to do illegal things. This video is about why are so many scientific studies pure and utter BS? Like, aren't they supposed to be science and factual and true? The answer is really simple. It's because most people who think they are scientists, who aren't scientists, who work as scientists, who went to university and now they have a job working as a scientist, they're very stupid and they design their studies really stupidly. I was just watching a physiology lecture that said 30 minutes of high-intensity interval training is going to create the oxygen demand and calorie burning of 30 minutes twice a week of 1 hour, 4 times a week of normal exercise. They're saying 1 hour of HIIT is equivalent to 4 hours of normal exercise. Here's the problem. What is normal exercise? Now, for most people, normal exercise, let's not count the lazy folks. For most athletic people, normal exercise is going to have you drenched in sweat. It's going to have you tired. You're going to be worn out at the end. But the people in these studies, they're not getting worn out. They're taking it easy. You know, like the people that go to the gym, they just lift some weights. They relax while they do it. Just taking it easy. Now, if you do that, of course you're not going to burn many calories. Of course you're not going to consume much oxygen because you're not really working out. So then when you go and compare it to high-intensity interval training, and you have people that actually exercise, because they're trying to do it all intense, which is how they should have been doing their normal exercise, of course they're going to burn way more calories. Of course they're going to use way more oxygen. But to have these morons teaching classes and spouting out this garbage, and it annoys me how much stupidity there is at universities because they teach it as if it's true, and they build really poor thinking for most people. And they design... And most students who go on to be PhD students and go on to be professors, or they go on to work other places, most of these people, because most people in general, are stupid and they don't design good studies. Their studies get results, but the results have no bearing in normal real life because they're not designed properly. If you want to design a real study that can measure the difference between high-intensity interval training and normal exercise, steady state, which is never completely steady unless you're just doing a marathon or riding a bike completely steady, but normal exercise is always going to have some ups and downs. If you're at the gym doing normal exercise, you're not working out steadily, exactly the same for your entire hour that you're there. It is almost like high-intensity interval training because you're going really hard when you're lifting things and you have to take some amount of break afterwards before you lift some more stuff. So first of all, this high-intensity interval training, it's garbage to begin with because, like I just told you, normal exercising is practically high-intensity interval training. So yeah, if they actually measured me in the gym doing my normal steady state training, and then they measured me doing high-intensity interval training, yeah, I'll probably burn a little bit more doing high-intensity interval training, but it's not going to be 4 times more. Ooh, you can get all the and that's another thing, you don't get all the benefits. What are all these benefits? Because they're only measuring oxygen consumption and calories burning. There's a lot more benefits to working out than those 2 things. That's not the point of this video, though. But if you were to measure me, it's not going to be 4 times more oxygen consumption from high-intensity interval training. But they're not measuring me. They're not measuring you if you're an actual athletic person. They're measuring people who go into the gym, they take it easy, let's do some steady state exercise, and then they measure people going as fast as they possibly can, so of course there's going to be a gigantic disparity between the 2 groups. And then you got all these other people. Oh, but it's science. It says that they get this oxygen consumption. That it can't be incorrect. It's like, yeah, it can be because the whole study was set up wrong. The data is true. But the reason you got the data is because you set up a study that's nothing like real life. And that's how most people are, because they're just not smart enough to see this kind of stuff. And it's sad to say, but even a lot of professors are too stupid. The hardest part about going to university, if you're intelligent, is that professors assume that they are right and that students are wrong. Professors assume that they know the correct answers to the questions that they ask, when oftentimes they don't. So when you give them the correct answer and it's not what they think, they mark you wrong because they think that they're right, when in reality, they're not always right. But I need to go take a quiz right now, real quickly, that I just watched some stupid videos for. Because remember I told you in my last video, even if I am smart and I don't need to watch the videos, I need to watch the videos to learn the bullshit that they want to spread. That way I can answer the bullshit for the questions instead of the correct answers. For example, if they were to ask a question about how much more efficient is high-intensity interval training, well, I just found out the ridiculous answer. It's 4 times more effective. I wouldn't have put that because it's not true. So I had to find out the BS to answer for my quiz, test, whatever you want to call it. It's a very short test. It's a test in terms of percentage of grade. It's a quiz in terms of time. But yeah, it's sad how stupid most people are. And then they think, well, I have a degree in biology. I know what I'm talking about. I have a degree in physiology. No, you don't. It just means you went to some classes and you took some tests and stuff and you put the right answers filled in the right bubbles. I mean, most things are multiple choice nowadays, so they don't even have to think it up on their own. They just have to see all the answers in front of them and be able to pick which one is best. There's a big difference between being given the possibilities and selecting one and coming up with the answer on your own. But everything is dumbed down so that every person out there can go to school. I mean, not everybody, but practically everybody out there can go to school and feel like a genius for going through their university, wear their graduation caps, and I'm a university graduate. I'm a big, whatever. I don't know what they think because they're stupid. They can't do anything. If you ask most of them, what can you do? They go, well, I have a degree in biology. Okay, great. What can you do? Well, I can do biology. Okay, what can you do? They can't do anything. Yes, some people can do stuff, but even the ones that know how to do techniques, doesn't matter, because if they apply those techniques to poorly constructed studies, like the one I was just telling you about, it doesn't matter that they knew how to do the scientific techniques, but most people can't even do the techniques right. And you've got 4th year chemistry students who can't do, I was just reading a message, a simple serial dilution. You've got 4th year biology students being taught how to reading another message, being taught how to read a scientific study. There is a problem when you need to teach someone right before they graduate how to read a scientific paper. You shouldn't need to teach them at all. And they should have already been reading them before they even entered university. The fact that they're only first looking at scientific papers, like a couple months before they graduate, and they need help understanding them, man, I don't need to say any more. But I gotta get back to my BS school stuff so that I can get my degree that proves that I know what I'm talking about, even though it doesn't do anything of the sorts. And because you need to have a degree to go to medical school, to get your degree in medicine, to be licensed, because that proves that you know about medicine too, and you can make good decisions about people's health, which it does not, once again. So, remember, you can hire me for training, advice, consultations, plans, etc. Same thing with diet, supplements, not medicine, only consolidation of medical information put in one place, along with my opinion, my non-licensed physician opinion. Now, right now, it's even my non-university graduate opinion, which is probably better than a university graduate opinion, except I'll be the exception because when I graduate university, my knowledge won't have come from my university, my knowledge, because most of them don't have any knowledge. They just memorize stuff. They can't make connections. They can't make conclusions. They can't use it in meaningful ways. They can't even set up basic scientific studies, even after they've probably gone through like 10 years of university. They can't set up a basic scientific study. Those were professors and graduate students who made that study. That's what most studies are made by. And they couldn't set up a basic study to measure the oxygen consumption and the calories burning in high-intensity exercise, interval training, whatever you want to call it, versus steady state. They couldn't do it after 10 years of school, at least. They couldn't do it. That's crazy. That's insane.